My name's James Poynton, and this is the Diary of a Property Investor. Each episode, I bring you guests to share their knowledge, experience, and inspirational stories. So if you're ready, I've got some explaining to do. This is Kirk Shephard, former combat medic, now turned estate agent and property investor. Welcome, Kirk.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Great to have you on. This is the first podcast ever, and it's quite exciting. So you're my first guest. Now, there's a couple of things we want to go through today. One, we're going to deep dive into direct to vendor, DTV, direct to vendor marketing, which you and I both got experience with, and I think we can both bring to the table and help property entrepreneurs out there that are starting their journey. But why don't we just start right from the beginning, where you started? And you've mentioned you've been a medic in the army. Tell us more.
So the army's obviously a part of the journey that started after leaving school. So I did a few jobs and then went straight into the military, basically. And that was all because A, I wanted to get away from home, and B, everybody said I couldn't do it. And I'm one of these people, if you tell me I can't do it, I'm going to go and do it. Not only do it, but absolutely smash it out of the water. So that was the reason I joined the military. I actually originally went to join the paras, but the waiting list, I think, was 6 months at the time. And I got a phone call, and they said, well, if you join the RAMC, which is the Med Corps as a combat medic, we can get you in the next 6 weeks. So I thought, well, get in and then change jobs if needed. So yeah, that was the beginning of the journey. Going from there, yeah, the RAMC. So yeah, joined the medics. I was absolutely useless at school. Didn't get on at school. I was always the person getting sent out, getting suspended, getting excluded. And next thing, I'm in med school, basically, going, oh dear, what have I signed up to?
So, come on, tell us, why did you get excluded at school? What did you do?
I've always been the person that thinks outside the box from a very young age. The system, I could see from early on, the system had flaws. It was broken. It was I just saw the world different. I just knew there was something more to the world than this school system, the 9 till 5, just what we live day-to-day life. I just believed there was more. I didn't know what it was back then, but I just knew there was more. I knew what we were being taught at the time could potentially not even be relevant in 10 years or 20 years and 30. And now we're sat here all that time on. We know the majority of the stuff they teach you at school isn't even relevant. Not even relevant, is wrong. A lot of the stuff is wrong. So,
yeah. So would you say you were defiant or just pursuing yourself?
No. So you've got to go further back. So a lot of people don't know that I grew up in the care system. I've been in children's homes. I have been in foster care. Luckily for me, though, my foster parents were long-term. So I spent the majority of my childhood from 7 all the way until joining the army with the same foster parents. So I'm blessed in that respect. Lynn and Les, very amazing people to do what they've done. You could only wish to sort of replicate what they've done, because they have created what you can hear and see here today in front of you. So that's hats off to them, 100%.
Wow.
But prior to that, from 0 to 7, it was just it was a massive journey, really. As a child, there was so much going on. Obviously, my real mum, I spent the years from sort of 0 to 3, so 3 years with her, where getting dragged around the streets of London. She was a drug addict, prostitute. She's actually serving a long prison sentence as we speak. And yeah, it was a difficult journey. Going from there at the age of 3, I then got sent to my real dad's. He was in and out of prison. I was left with my stepmom for years at a time. And me and my brother, we just had to fend for ourselves at that early age. And it was just a really horrific environment, really.
Good grief. I never knew that about you. We are fairly new friends. We've met through a mutual community in the property industry, the Property Investment Academy. But I never knew that. You don't, to look at you, to talk to you, to listen to you, you don't ever for 1 minute think that that's happened to someone like you. You don't, I'm a bit at loss for words, in fairness. Is your brother your blood brother? Is he?
Yeah, so he's we have the same dad, but different mums. Okay. But we spent them huge years together. I think the age of sort of from 3 to 7. That's the developmental years.
Yeah,
and
it is.
We had a massive bond, and I always remember he got sent to school one day, which was a rarity because we just pick and chose when we wanted to go to school and what we did. And it's just crazy. We were just out fending for ourselves, fighting for our lives from the early age, and we had that connection. And he got sent to school one day, and that day he got sent, they sent me to care. So he came home, where's my brother? And he literally smashed the house to pieces. They took me away, took his only support, his rock, and destroyed his life. I was going on a new journey with great people. I didn't know that at the time. But yeah, he was then left in that same place, hell.
Wow. That's intense. Do you think the system's different now that when they see the brothers together like that they'd put them together, or is it in the same foster care? So she comes as a package?
You've got to remember his mum was there essentially. So she never liked me. The abuse mentally, physically that went on was horrific. But he was always her son. So when I say from a mental aspect, there'd be stuff like, I've got 6 children now. So since having my kids, I know exactly how it plays out. And that love wasn't there for me. It was just like, you sit in your bedroom, we're going to have playtime, bath time, story time, and you're going to listen to it from the confine of a room. So the mental torture for a 4, 5, 6-year-old, it was horrific. But look, I am who I am today because of everything that's happened on that journey. So it's just about not being a victim.
What you obviously have got a lot of mental resilience, and kudos to you for that. So take us up to when you're in the army. How old were you when you first joined the army, and when did you leave?
So 16. I joined at 16, and I think I can't even remember. Was it 2014 when I left, roughly? So I was medically discharged with PTSD and depression, mass depression, and that was just due to multiple tours. I think in total I'd done 7 or 8 tours in total, and that was all over the Middle East.
Crikey.
All over the world, really. So it was constant, and it wasn't until I stopped that it all came apparent what I'd put myself through and mentally put myself through. And it's no easy feat. There's people that do 1 or 2 tours and get out because they've just had enough. But Afghanistan was a different place. It was a very, especially in the early days, you go somewhere like that, you have no bills to pay. You've got you get rid of all the everyday life stuff. So that isn't in your mind. So you actually feel quite free.
Like there's no routine.
The compromise. No, there's routine, but there's no paying your mortgage, paying bills, having loans, cars, all the stuff that doesn't really matter in life. It's all gone. Mobile phones, computers, internet. So it's you with a group of people, and you start to talk, you get to know people. But then the downside is you can go on patrol, your buddy's sat in the bed space next to you, and he doesn't come back off that patrol. And then you're packing his bed space up, sending his kit home, and then you've just got to crack on because you're only 2 months into your tour. And you've got another 7 months left. That's the realization. So when people say, well, you're quite you've got that one track, you very abrupt in your messages, you're very abrupt on the phone. Yes, I am, because I have to pick up, get the job done, and move on to the next task. And that's created in them environments. So
would you say that's the military training that they give you? Is why you are like you are now? Or?
No, part of the training is to test to see if you've got that resilience. If you haven't, I think it was the Royal Marines that said 99.9% need not apply, because it's a mindset thing, and it takes you back to the elite training. It takes you back to, it's all mindset. If you haven't got the mindset, don't even start the journey. That's the simple fact, the mindset. Because things are, you as much as you think, well, I'm building a portfolio, I'm building a business, I'm building this, I'm creating that, that's great. But all you're actually doing is creating more issues and more problems and bigger problems. And people don't realise that.
Mm. So when did you decide? Was it while you're in the army that you decided that, hey, you know what, property is what I'm going to get into when I come out? Because I suppose with the army, you've always got an exit goal, haven't you? Because you always know you're going to retire from it, don't you?
Well, the point is, you think you're going to do 22, retire on a pension, you're not going to have to work again. That was my plan. Then obviously that getting cut short. Property was never in my mind. When I came out, I had a reptile business, a reptile shop. I used to breed snakes, breed reptiles. That was my passion. And I did very well at it. We used to import stuff from the US, and I ran that as an effective business that made a lot of money. And that was my passion. But then property, I fell into property. So I think I was uptown one day. I just quit whatever job I was doing. There's a bit more of a backstory to that, but I won't go into depth because I don't think it's relevant. But yeah, I was uptown. I bumped into a guy I knew that owned an estate agency, and he was like, right, my sales manager's just left. Put a suit on and come to the office tomorrow. You're the new sales manager on X amount of money. And I said, what the hell do I know about selling houses? And he went, you don't need to. Systems, tools, people, organisation, your military, you'll do it. Went in there. They were hemorrhaging 10 grand a month. It was costing them 10 grand a month to keep the sales department open. And I think within 2 months, we were back up to 60 grand. 6 months, we were 100 grand and so on and so on. And I built that business. The only downside to the story was I went in once the business was turning over a decent profit. Can I have more money? Up my salary? And they said no. So I ended up going, right, fine, that's fine. What's this new hybrid system, Purple Bricks, Yopa? And I was actually the first agent in the UK that opened Cumbria for Yopa. So I set up the whole of Cumbria, and we turned over some amazing figures. Smashed all the targets. I still think to this day that the targets probably stand that we were setting back all the way back then. But yeah, that wasn't the system. My first, when I walked in that office as a sales manager, I knew I had a knack for property. And I said to myself on that day, my goal now is to work in every aspect of property, from high street, corporate, hybrid, property auction, business sales. And once I've done every aspect, I'm going to set up my own business. That was already clear in my mind. It just depended on how long that journey was going to take. And coming off the back of that, I did the auction. I was a valuation manager for quite a big auction company in Stockport, and I was sick of doing the drive. 2-hour commute there, 2-hour commute back. We were on very, very, very good money. And I got home one day and I just said to the missus, look, sell the house, we're moving to the Lake District. And she spat coffee everywhere and went, what? Are you joking? I said, no. So we sold the house the next day, moved to the lakes, didn't know anybody, moved into a rented house, set up this business, and I'm sat in the pub, drowning in a pint, going, what the hell have I done? Everybody was telling me I was going to fail. Everyone was telling me I was crazy, and sat there talking to the barmaid, going, I think I made a bit of a mistake here. And some farmer walked in and he went, "What? Who are you?" Like, it's one of them pubs, in the lakes. It's like, are you local? Who the hell are you?
Did the music stop and everyone turn around and stare at you?
It was exactly like that, yeah. And no, but I sat with him, had a pint, and at the end of the drink, he said, come to this address tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. And that was my first valuation, which was a huge deal. Just under £1 million, and we pulled 300 grand's worth of commission out of it.
Wow! Hang on, let's just back things up a minute. Let's back things up. Hang on. So you were living in Preston doing this job with the wife and the kid. How old are the kids at this stage?
Oh God, who did we have at that stage? We had Amelia, Alfie, and Darcy at that point.
Yeah. What year is this? Give us a timeline. What year was it when you did this?
You're asking. Oh, it's 3 years ago. So what were you now? 22. So 19.
Yeah, 2019. You just said, right, we're going to sell the house and we're going to go to the Lake District, live in the South Lakes. So you went and bought a house in the Lake District. You didn't have a job. Took the kids, took the wife, and they all followed you. So they believe in you. They trust and believe in you.
Oh, their belief was there, 100%.
What about yours?
My belief's always there because I need change.
Yeah.
Where people hate change, I need it.
And you walked into that pub, and you sat down, had a pint, and went, "Shit."
It was a moment of realization. The plan was there. Look, part of the plan was direct mail, the community aspect, social media, and content. But I just didn't realize that community aspect was going to be what it was. Game changer. You couldn't have done it in a big city. You couldn't have done it anywhere else. But in a village, a small town in the lakes, everybody talks to everybody. So that community aspect was massive.
You put your faith in the community there then?
It wasn't even faith. It was just you do one good job and you get 5 more. And then from the back of them 5, you get the 25 and then so on and so on. It just escalates.
This guy that walked in the pub, this farmer, and he said, "Who are you?" And then you explained to him what you do. What did you say?
I just said, I've just moved. I'm setting up an estate agency and I'm just started looking for properties that I need to find. And this is the funny bit though. So prior to that, I did a video in the local town, high spec video.
Yeah.
I'll send you the first video. It's on my YouTube channel. Check out the first video. And I'm in a suit. I'm in the Lake District. People are coming out of the houses like, what the hell's going on here? They thought the news team was in town. So they were straight on the social media. Who's in town? Who's this person? Anyway, I released that video, and that first video, and this is something to take into account. If you're going to get yourself out there, don't worry about what people think, because all publicity is good publicity. So anyway, I did this video. I took my stats off Rightmove, and basically the stats for Broughton were miles away. So I was saying I was saying stuff that wasn't even right. So I got hammered. That video, when I launched it in the local Broughton group, I got absolutely executed.
Yeah.
My missus is reading the comments going, this is bad. And I said, no. There's 100 comments in there. This is good. She just assumed, oh, this is bad. You're getting hammered. And I thought, yeah, but it's good. And I'd say 80% of people that were on that giving me the run-in and sort of trying to execute me, I've sold properties for since then. So there you go. That just goes to show.
Yeah. And so this all happened when? 2019?
Yes. Yeah.
Good grief.
And then obviously we went into lockdown,
amazing.
Which turned out for estate agents to be a golden ticket, really.
Great stuff. So the estate agency, you've still got that now?
Yes. Yeah.
And so you need to start marketing, didn't you?
We didn't. The community aspect was it, but basically the community aspect has built a business that'll do between 250 and 300,000 £300,000 a year turnover just from the community. That's as simple as it is.
Yeah,
I know I could step it up and with the direct mail, which we have used because it was important, and we'll discuss that. But that was that to get me off the ground. The community and the direct mail were the two things that made it happen. So off the back of the farm, I sent a letter to a property up in Moorland, and that was a £2 million property that was on the market, and I bagged that property off one direct mail, one letter. Right.
So, okay, I need to understand now what was in that letter.
Very, very simple. Very simple. It was a blue envelope that has a gold interior, and it was a handwritten address on the front. And all that letter said was, "Can you call me about your property?" Simple. That one deal did me £66,000. Yeah, £66,000 I made off that one deal from one letter.
Amazing.
Amazing. I think the letter cost me a £5. I had to do a land registry search to get the owner's name, the envelope, the pen, and the stamp.
Good grief!
And people say to me,
direct
mail doesn't work.
Oh, it does, but you have to be patient. I mean, I've learnt that way. Just a quick one. If you're enjoying this, hit the follow button and share it with friends. Back to the show. Yeah, so let's talk about some direct mail then. So you use blue envelopes, gold writing.
Yes.
And what's in the letter?
Very basic.
What's the content of the letter?
Very basic. Normal letter format, and all it says is, "Please, can you call me about your property?" And that is the initial letter that I would send to properties that are currently on the market.
So when you say they're currently on the market, what I'm trying to think of here is for the people that are starting their journeys and they want to try and find these properties. So just to clarify that we only send, you send letters, and I do this as well. I'm not an estate agent. I'm a property sourcer and property investor. So when I'm trying to find properties to either buy or then potentially sell on as a deal, I'm using something. I use a scraper. Okay, a data scraper, and she is based in the Philippines, and she scrapes all the data for me through Rightmove and Zoopla and whatever else, and she compiles it onto a spreadsheet, and then she sends it over. Now, there's something really quite clever. There's a Google Chrome plugin called Property Log. You now have to subscribe to it. I think it's just a couple of quid a month, but that allows you to see on Rightmove all the different dates when the property came onto the market and what price it was when it came on. Has there been any reductions? Has there been any increases, and so on? And it allows you to see all that data. And then when we see properties that have been on the market for over 90 days, because 90 days is roughly about 12 weeks, and the reason for that is because you'll agree. I hope you agree with me here, Kirk, that estate agents' sort of contracts they have with a vendor are between 4 and 12 weeks. before they are allowed to go off and do what they want. Would you say that's right?
Yeah, the average, yeah, definitely.
Good. Okay, so what my VA does is then once she's found the properties that are like at 90 days and they've not sold yet, she also scrapes for things like needs refurbishment, modernisation, things like this, so keywords like that. And then what she does very, very well is gets me a letter typed up and into a PDF for me, and just sends them over. And she does all the envelopes as well, and she sends them over to me because she actually finds all the addresses, she finds all the postcodes for me, but she doesn't find names, the names of the owners,
right?
Because I don't know, you've had experience with this. Trying to find the names of the owners is going to, I think it's £3 a time.
Yes, land registry.
From land registry, that's right. So I don't do that, but I address mine to the home owner, and do that. So yeah, because I mean, I must admit, I did 500 letters in January, and if I'd have spent £3 a go for a land registry, then you're getting into the thousands, aren't you? Mm-hmm. And plus, I do it on yellow paper and yellow envelopes, so it really stands out. So I hope people listening or I hope this is useful information for them. They're taking value out of this, and it does have a great effect because I also use red ink as well. Now you said use gold pen, don't you, on a blue envelope? On
a navy blue envelope.
Yes, yeah, and I've seen that, and it is good. It does stand out.
They also say you shouldn't use windows in your envelopes because it makes it look like a bill or just a generic letter. Yeah. And the other thing it's the other thing is not to use the frank machine as well.
Absolutely,
because you just get the stamp on there. Yes, it's cheaper, but people, it's that recognition. You know yourself when you get the letters through the post, you're like. What I want them to do is go, oh, this looks like a birthday card. There could potentially be a check in here or money in here. I can't throw this one away. I've got to open it now. Yeah. And look, people do get a bit miffed off. They think they're opening a birthday card and there's a letter saying, give me a call on this number.
It's not even my birthday.
They've still got... but the thing is, they've got to make that call. Who the hell sent me this?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
That's what I think. It just plucks that initial. Don't get me wrong, you can't keep sending them letters because people are just going to I've had enough of this. So then you've got to start going into detail who you are, what you do, and what you can offer them. So there's a very sort of set structure to it all. And remember, when you're 3 letters in, if you are keen and you're writing to people in your local area, go and knock on the door at tea time. Because you've already done the introduction. The fact that you're taking the time to go and speak to them face to face is a massive win because nobody else is going to be doing that.
Exactly.
I'll tell you that for a fact.
That is thinking outside the box, isn't it?
Massively so, yeah. People buy off people. It's as simple as that. If you go and build look, what we're doing, it doesn't matter if it's a estate agency, property development, property investment, whatever it is, you've got to go and build relationships with people. It's all relationship building.
Yeah,
that's the key. People say, "How come you're such a good valuer, but you don't wear a suit and you go to valuations dressed as you are?" A, I'm real and I'm being me, and B, I'm going there to build relationships with people. If you don't like who I am, we're not going to work together. We'll shake hands and we'll walk away politely. And do you know the beauty of running a business that way? You don't have any headache. At all.
Like it. Totally. Yeah. You're building relationships is key for me too. Because obviously when you want to try and find those off-market deals, shall we say, building relationships with estate agents like you is key. And by the way, I've never entered your estate agency because I'm not in that area at all. But my goldmine area that I work in and find deals in is Nottingham and also Derby. So I've been around lots of estate agents in Nottingham, and there are some of them couldn't care less, and they don't care, and they're not interested, and they just don't understand what you're trying to do and what you're doing. And I don't expect them to, and that's fine. But there's some of the people out there that will talk to you, will give you the time of day. I've taken valuers for coffees, got their own private number, text them, ask them for help. They're happy to give it, and then I've rewarded them with a nice bottle of wine. Just anything. It's building that rapport and checking in with them, actually caring, going, "Are you okay? Because I heard you had COVID, and you weren't in the office or something, whatever." So yes, there's a lot of that, and they do bring deals every now and again. They will come off. Have you had that?
Seen it on seeing it from an agent's perspective. A lot of these guys are paid a wage and they have a job to do. And you've got to remember, traditionally in an estate agency, there is a number of people to take the property from valuation to sale, and then progression, and obviously that whole process might have 5, 6, 10 people involved. So it's very difficult to, what do? Do you go for the valuers that are first people through the door, or do you go to the sales negotiator that's dealing with the deal? So it's and these people are getting paid the wage, and they have that one job to do, and then pass it on to the next person. So their job essentially is to get the property on the market and get it sold. It's a very, I have the mentality, if it's already on the market, it's no longer a deal. That's my mentality.
Yeah,
it's very difficult. There could be 100 property investors looking on Rightmove at that one property that goes on slightly below market value because of whatever reason, and everyone's scrambling to that front door. So you've got to be outside the box. So the people that you need to be speaking to, for me, essentially, is the owner, direct to the point of that. So that's where you direct mail.
Indeed, totally. It's why we do direct to vendor mails. I was going to also just bring up the fact that I have my VA. She puts everything into my CRM, so I have a CRM, so everything's filed in there. So when I do receive a phone call from one of my letters, I say cause it's all about how you handle the call as well, isn't it? So you get a call from this vendor going, "Oh, who are you? I've received this letter," and you go, "Oh yeah, I sent 10 letters out." No, I didn't. I sent 500, but I sent 10 letters out, and I kept a spreadsheet. Which one is yours? Which postcode is it? Begins. And she goes, "Oh yeah, it's NG9, blah 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 blah." And you go, "Okay, great." So I go quickly to my CRM, either on my phone while she's on speaker, or on my web browser. Quick login, type in NG, whatever it is, the postcode, and it comes up with their property. And in there is a link saved to Rightmove. I click on that, it brings the property up. I can see it, and I go, "Oh yes, I remember this." And then I start talking. Lovely. So have you not sold it then? And then they come out with all the details, and you start having a conversation, and you find out it might be on probate, it belongs to their parents or something, or they've had offers and it's been downvalued or whatever, so on. So yeah, the CRM really helps organize my systems, especially when you're doing maybe 200, 300, 500 letters a month, because you're scraping all that data through all these areas, through 2 different areas like Derby and Nottingham for me. That really, really helps. So what about you? Do you use a CRM?
No, simple. I use a CRM for the estate agency, but in terms of the direct mail, it's a simple spreadsheet with a reference number. So we do exactly what you said, but the issue is they're going to ring you and they're going to expect you to know who they are. Well, you've sent me a letter. So most of the conversations actually go, "Hi, you've sent me this letter. What's it all about?" "Oh, right, okay. If you could just give me the reference number on the top corner, please, that'd be very helpful." It's rather than saying, "Oh, who are you? What's your address?" They're just going to say, "Well, you should know my address. You sent me a letter." "Oh, well, I sent 10 letters out." "Yeah, well, you." And the thing is, it puts it on the back foot. That simple reference number wipes all that out. Could you just give me the four-digit reference number on the top corner? "Yeah, okay, yeah, it's 2347. 2347 spreadsheet, bang. Oh, so you're number 10, Forstall Close. Oh, yes. So you know the property then? Yeah, I know it well, actually. I can see it's been on the market, or you've been on the market with this agent for the last 3 months. You tried to sell it 3 years ago as well. And so what do you think the problem is? Why is the property not selling? Oh, well, the agent came in and valued it at 110, but we actually only thought it was worth 80 grand. Cha-ching. The agents don't ask the question. Rather than asking the question, they'll just give their professional opinion. So there's 2 reasons properties don't sell: poor advertising and price.
Yeah.
Every property in the UK will sell if it's advertised right and the price is right.
And that's
simple as that.
That's something else to look out for, isn't it? When you're doing your own scraping, is look out for badly advertised properties, things, so properties advertised without floor plans as well.
So yeah, 25% of your audience won't even carry on with the advert if there's no floor plan. So you've lost 25% of your potential buyers. The agent's not putting the address correct on the advert, so the address is completely wrong and it's not even actually showing. So when someone's doing a generalised search, it's not even coming up. Pricing it wrong. 299,995. If you've got 1,000 properties in Nottingham and you've priced it at that, rather than rounding it up or rounding it down, people aren't going to see you until the 10th page.
Yeah.
Oh, why is my property not selling? Well, people aren't going 10 pages in to find your property because it's priced incorrect. That's always a sign of a poor agent. Floor plans, poor photos. Nobody wants to see your cat or your dog or the bedroom that you've not cleaned up. Take a bit of pride and take a bit of time in doing the marketing. 360 virtual tour, video. Are you ticking all these boxes? Sell the lifestyle as well. Don't just write a description. 3 bedroom, 2 double bedroom, radiator, blah blah blah. Nobody cares. You've got to try and sell that lifestyle. What's the area like? Oh, the schools, post office, shops, takeaways. Tell people what they're coming to see, basically. And then it's also how the agents are dealing with the inquiries. Most agents are still 9 till 5. 9 till 5 estate agency doesn't work.
Why is that?
It doesn't work anymore because most people are at work 9 till 5. So who's coming doing viewings 9 till 5?
It's true.
Is this potentially why we saw a massive increase in property sales through lockdown, or one of the reasons? Because people weren't at work, so they could view 9 till 5. Because I know most of my viewings are booked in after 6 o'clock. So we book most of our viewings between 6 and 10 o'clock at night, our appointments. And then most of the appointments are done pre 9 o'clock or post 5 o'clock. Because we allow that. And weekends and evenings is one of our things. We do the majority of our viewings weekends and evenings. When the other agents are saying, I can't actually come out and do that.
Yeah.
You miss one buyer. That's what you miss, one person or one email, or you don't respond to it within 24 hours. In this market, they've gone and bought something else.
Yeah.
So you've lost that vendor a sale.
I think
you've not answered your phone.
The industry has picked up speed as well, because like if it's already advertised, it's already gone. So most of the time, I've found if it's properties are selling very, very quickly. Viewings are getting booked up very, very quick. Offers are going in very, very quickly as well. So it's just all sped up. Do you think it will come back to a steady flow like it has been, pre-COVID?
I can feel it slowing slightly already where we are.
Good.
Not slowing. It's getting back. It's getting back to the pace, the original pace.
Yeah.
So it's been very quick. The market has just been bam, bam, bam. The properties, we've been cycling most of our stock through within 3 to 4 weeks. So we've got a 3-week average turnaround on property sales, which is quick. So that's point of listing to sold subject to contract, not obviously getting it through the sales process. That's just hitting the market and getting it sold.
So what would it be normally then to turn it around? Instead of 3 weeks, what would it be? 4,
We
5, 6?
we we used to sort of look at the average contract time for an estate agent, 6 to 12 weeks.
Yeah.
So and this is what gets me. You don't sign you sign a contract, but I don't tie you in with me. Mm. And people say you're crazy. What happens if someone sends a direct to vendor letter, or if someone goes and knocks on the door? That's fine, but I'll guarantee every single one of my vendors, you go and knock on the door, and they're going to say to you, "No, we're with the best possible agent, Kirk Shephard. We don't need you. Thank you."
Good man.
That's what he's trying to achieve. All these agents going, "Oh, you sent a letter to my vendor and they're coming on with you. It's not fair. It's not right. This isn't what we do in the industry." Listen, if your vendor was happy with you, they wouldn't be coming on board with me. It's as simple as that. If you've got an agent in front of you, and this is, look, people are probably going to give me a bit of an hard time, but look, I don't care. I actually don't care. Estate agents are probably the worst. One of the worst. We've got the worst reputation in all industries, and the reason is you're in evaluation. I'm going to sell this in 2 weeks for you, but I need you to sign my 12-week contract. What? How does that work? You just told me you're going to sell my house in 2 weeks. So think about what you're doing with these agents. If they're trying to tie you in for 12, 24, I've seen 36-week contracts. It's protecting them, not you. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
36 weeks sounds like someone with insecurity that can't do the job properly.
Oh, massively so, yeah. Can't do your job.
Have you ever lost a deal to somebody else?
Never.
Why do you think that is?
Because I build a relationship. When I go into evaluation, my sole objective is to build trust and a relationship. I don't care about looking at the house. I don't care about giving them the valuation initially. My whole purpose is, can I work with you, and do you want to work with me? Mm. Because if we don't establish that, the rest doesn't matter really. So I build that trust to the point where if you've got to ring me and tell me you're not coming on board, you're doing it in tears. That's how much of a relationship we've built.
Good man.
Nothing else matters.
Where did you learn those sort of skills?
I didn't. I genuinely went into this job to help people. So if you do this off a basis of helping people and genuinely wanting to change people's lives, because it is, there's certain reasons people move. It could be death, divorce, ill health, old age. So these people are having to move at a time in their life that they're not always at the best. Yes, people upgrade and the families grow. That is another reason why. But a lot of the time, people are doing this because they have to. So why can't you be a shoulder or helping hand to make that transition the best possible transition it can be? Especially in the Lake District, these people have lived in these houses 30, 40, 50 years, and they're now having to move out of their dream home that they've lived in the majority of their life and move into a little bungalow because the age or ill health. Mm. So it's from a genuine place why I do this job, not about money.
And just going back to also when we're approaching direct to vendor without using our mailing and trying to find deals, we are searching for motivated sellers, aren't we? And it could be a number of things, like you've just mentioned, a couple coming out of a house having to go to a bungalow because of age. It could be someone selling their house due to go to a care home. It could be someone that's in mortgage arrears or facing repossession, illnesses, anything, couldn't it? Divorce, separation, I've come across as well. What about, have you any others you could add?
Yeah, so it's the main factors: ill health, old age, divorce or separation, family are growing, or the family's declining because the kids have got to a certain age and they're leaving home. There's all these factors. So do it because you genuinely want to help someone. If you're going in and you're trying to get a property at 10, 15, 20% under market value, you're not doing it because you're doing it from a genuine place. Because these people, they might be having the house repossessed, and you offering them 80% of the market value on the house, could clear the mortgage, keep them from getting a poor credit score, and is genuinely helping these people. So do it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Always approach this from the right reasons. Never do it for your benefit. That's all I can say. That's probably the main advice I could give anybody.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. I know people, other deal sources around the country that have saved people where they've been in so much trouble, so much pain, and you're taking that pain away and helping them, and they thank you because also that one, they need the money, two, it gets them out of a horrible situation they don't want to be in, and you can move really quickly. Because from my point of view as a deal sourcer, I can work with investors who've got cash and they can move really quickly. And once we've got all the figures stacked correctly, the investor is not going to pull out that deal. They're buying it, and you can give that reassurance to that vendor as well, saying we're not backing out. This is it. We're doing it, and they're like, great, because they've had so many other offers when then they've backed out, and they just lose faith in buyers, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. It's always do it from a genuine place, and there's a lot of this. I don't want to guess the number, but there's so many people out there that need that help now. So you just need to get out there and find them people. And I tell you what, you do that one good deed, and you'll get it back 10 times.
Indeed.
And that's the only way that this works as well. Relationship building, trust.
Kirk, I was just going to come back to the letters that you type yours, don't you? So they're printed and typed.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
So I do something a little bit different. I use a free piece of software called Calligrapher, which is spelt for people listening, CALIGRAPHR. Okay. So it's not spelt the correct way, but what that does, you can go onto Calligrapher. It allows you to download a little PDF sheet, and it's a grid. You print it off, and you write in every box your handwriting, A, B, C, D, E, F, and and then all your numbers, and your apostrophes and your commas and your full stops. Have you come across this before?
I've only because I've spoke to you previously about it, but I've never actually looked at it. But it was something that was on my to-do list because we had a conversation.
We did,
about 3 or 4 days ago about it, and it sounds amazing. I'm sure you're going to explain to everyone how it works as well.
So with Calligrapher, yes, you print off this grid, and you fill in all the alphabet and all your numbers and all your apostrophes and full stops, like I was explaining. You do that all in your own handwriting, and then you scan it in to your computer and upload it back to the Calligrapher website. And what it does, it creates a font of your handwriting. So once it creates that font, you can then upload that font to your Microsoft Word, or whether you're using Pages or whatever else you're using to write letters. And you can then write letters in your own handwriting. Dead cool.
It's amazing.
I know you're shaking your head in disbelief, mate. But yes, it's true. It works. And then, so what I do is I get those typed up by my VA. Does it all for me. So she types them up, and it's very simple. Hi, to the homeowner. Hi, I'm a local guy that wants to buy a house in this area. Yours looks ideal for me. If you haven't already sold it with insert estate agent, please give me a call on this number. And what I've done is I've gone with what they're called, virtual landline, I think they're called, and they give me a localized number. So for Nottingham, it starts 0115. So I've got this 0115 number, and then I put that in the letter, and I divert that number to my mobile. So they think, oh, local guy, he's 0115. I always use a second class stamp as well. So bright blue on a yellow envelope with red writing is, it stands out. So people open the letters, and then they see it, and they give me a call, and their leads, they're my leads coming in, and then it's up to me to convert those into a deal if I can, and find properties and to invest in myself or sell them out to my investors. But that's how I do. So there's a tip for you, mate.
There you go. Yeah, it's and this is what it's all about. It's about passing this knowledge and just making everybody stronger. But then you can pass the knowledge, and this is what I find a lot of the time. We're going to sit. We've took the time to do the podcast. We're telling and showing people the way to do it. But unless they take action and they take the information that we're sharing now,
yeah,
that's the most important thing. Get out there and do it.
Indeed.
Send 10 letters, 20 letters. Just send 5 letters if you only want to send 5, but just try it. Take action. Take action now.
And like Stephen Green says, your action takers, just set yourself small goals to start with. For instance, if you want to start with 5 letters, just do 5 letters this week, and then next week do 10. But just get started. You can't climb the mountain all in one go. It takes a small step forward, and that's it's the most important thing in my view.
Yeah, definitely. And don't give up with it, because just because you've sent 5 and you've got nothing back, set the schedule. Set the schedule over a 10-week period. Send 5, 10, 15. Keep getting them letters out. And it might not happen straight away, but if you stay consistent and stay on it, you will get the phone calls.
It's so true. In fact, I've got to say, I got a phone call last night from one I sent in January, and today is the 1st of April. So there's no, at the time of recording, of course, but there's no April Fool's jokes today because we're in the afternoon. But anyway, yeah, I got a phone call last night, and I'm trying to close that deal now, which is amazing. And that was sent in January. So yeah, and also when I send letters out, send them in January, I send them about a month later as well, if they're still on the market. So you keep going and keep going. So if they've ignored the first letter and you send another one, then they're like, "Oh, this guy's persistent." And then you send a third one. I only ever send 3 over 3 months, and then that's it. I don't send anything.
Right. I would say just keep going until you get a response or they sell the house.
It costs me a fortune.
Annoy them, literally. Make them call you annoyed and be like, right, I've got 5 letters, what's going on? Yeah, you've got 5 letters. Have you sold your house? No. Well then, do you want to sell it? Because I'm here
coming
to buy
round. I know your address. I'm coming round. I've sent you 5 letters and you've not even had the decency to ring me back.
And that's the thing. Go and knock on the door. I know your area is massive, and to go and knock on 500 doors, but why not pick 10% of them 500 that are the closest to you and go and knock on the doors? Just see what the response is.
Indeed, totally. A quick question: have you tried leaflets?
No, because I think it's a 1%
Might
hit
be.
rate. I think that's what the
less
numbers
than
are. Oh, yeah, so
it's less than that. Like the direct to vendor letters, out of 500 I sent, I had a 7% callback response. Yeah, right. So 7%. I mean, like that's what 35. Yeah, okay. Roughly. I mean, I was pleased with that. I mean, people say that they get more like 20% or 10%, but I was pleased with 7%. It kept me busy for that because I put a lot of letters out, didn't I? But yeah, with leaflets, I don't know if this works for you as you're an estate agency, but as a deal sourcer, I'm sending a different type of leaflet out, and I have done. I mean, it might work for some people. It has not worked for me when you're trying to find those deals. I've done 6,000 leaflets, which cost me, let's think, Solo Press printed them for about 80 quid. Then I had to get them delivered. So they got delivered. That cost me another £300. So you're talking about £380 for 6,000 leaflets. I got nothing out of it. And the trick with leaflets is you have to keep going and keep going and keep going. Like, can you imagine doing that? And really, 6,000 leaflets in Nottingham, how big that city is nothing.
Yeah, it's the old content thing. You've got to keep in front of people. It's like social media. If it isn't consistent, then it's not worth doing. And it's the same with the leaflets. If you're not going to stay on top of it and spend 300 quid a month, it's not worth doing. It's got to be in front of them constantly until they see it, until the day they go, actually, this is the day I need to do something with this. It's the same with your social media. then not every post is going to relate to somebody, but you're always in front of them on the screen until either the post that's relevant or the day that they need you. That's the only time they're going to make the call.
I've just started a new strategy, and I'll let you know how this goes. But I've set up a Facebook business page as a property buyer, so like a property buying business. And I'm trying to put content out there at the moment, and then I'll start doing Facebook ads. But again, this is all about budgets, because it's going to cost me at least £500 to £1,000 a month in Facebook ads to try and get some leads out of it. There are some stats out there saying how many leads I'll get and how many deals I'll get out of that, but I don't know. I've been given so many stats in the past. I like to see how it works out for myself, and I'll trial it. But again, it's about being that consistent again, because whatever you do on Facebook with Facebook advertising, it's about that know, like, and trust. And they have to keep seeing it and keep seeing it and keep seeing it until one day they go, do you know what? I might just message these people.
Yeah. No, I understand that completely.
Yeah. So I'm going to try that. But it's like anything, the envelopes cost money, the stamps cost money, the letters cost money. It's and my VA costs money to do it all for me. So it's all about the budget and what you're going to get a return on that investment. But if you find one deal, it pays for the whole lot. That's it. It's done.
And that you've just said it. Yeah, you've just said it there. It's not actually about the money, but it is about the ROI. It is about the return on the investment.
Yeah.
If that works, then the money doesn't really matter, does it?
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things.
You get one deal, and that will just sort the last 3 months out, no problem. And then if you keep going, the more deals will come. So all of a sudden you're buying one house, then 2 houses a month, and then 3 houses a month. And then you look how other people have done it in our community that we know in the PIA, and they're doing it very, very well, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. There's people making it work. Definitely. I think it's using the multiple options though. Don't just stick with direct mail. Hit them 4 aspects: community, direct mail, social media, content. Make sure you're doing all 4 and doing it consistently. That's my belief.
Or find a deal sourcer.
or speak. Yeah,
find a deal sourcer to do it for you. But although I started out doing deal sourcing, it's to actually farm my own investments as well, which I'm doing more of at the moment because of what the market is doing. But we'll see. So talking about that, tell us about what you've got going on, because you've got not only the estate agents, you're now, from what I've seen, starting to invest, aren't you?
Yeah. So I've been the great thing with estate agents working in this locality is you're in very high profile property with high profile people, and you get in front of these people that have been in this community for their whole life, that are embedded. And because of how I do my business, I only take on 10 properties at a time, which means I can give every single person the maximum that I've got, and get the job done very quickly and efficiently. It's put me in front of high profile people that are now giving me opportunities, be that renovations on large scale, be that building plots on huge scale, that I have now got the access to. I'd probably say in total with the different landowners and people with the projects, I've probably got 20 or 30 huge deals as it stands. 2 of which, one of which we're starting within the next couple of months. The other one is in the process. So the one we'll be starting is the Bridge Inn in Kendal, which is quite a landmark property in the area. So it's going to give us some coverage. It's already been in the papers. So that's the first one that we're going to be starting. And the second one is a huge building plot with 50 houses to be built. And I think just with the rough numbers that have been circulating, there's about £4 million worth of profit in that. So they're just the two.
So not a lot then.
No,
I don't
no.
know why you get out of bed in the morning for that.
but once again,
That's
it's not.
amazing, mate.
Yeah. Once again, it's not about the money, because them numbers are actually cut short, because the plan with that plot is to build actual affordable housing for the locals in the area, which is going to be a game
That's
changer
good.
really for that area.
It's that
Not
giving
when
back
these
again, isn't it?
yeah, not when these builders say we're going to build affordable housing and then 10 out of the 50 are affordable and the rest are not. These, we want to try and make the majority affordable, and then a handful or a couple of handfuls of them bungalows for the elderly as well.
And with that, you're probably building again a community, so you're giving back.
Huge community, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, we just want to get as many people involved in this as well, from the PIA, from the elite. So we're trying to structure it in a way where, and not just from a financial point of view, but from that, get that first deal off the ground, get the confidence built, get involved. That's the key with this. And like I said, these are just 2 of potential 20. And that's 20 based in my locality. I've got stuff in Preston. There's probably 3 or 4 huge developments in Preston, and my contacts down there. We can do some real creative stuff with that as well. So yeah, there's a lot going on.
So Kirk, if I can help you in any way, do you need investment for these projects?
Do you know what? It's a funny one. This the actual investment side is probably the easy bit, but yeah. There's always room to speak to new people, new investors. It's just the time and money thing. If you understand the principle of the guys that have got all the investment and the money, they just haven't got the time. So if you can put something that stacks in front of them, and they're gonna make some profit, the money's there, ready to go. And it's the same with the projects as well. What I found is the people we're working with at the minute are coming to retirement age. It's the baby boomers, so it's that generation that they've had enough of it. They've got all these sites, commercial, residential, building plots, and they've been doing this for their life, and they now want to move out to Spain or go and sit on a beach somewhere drinking a cocktail. So if you can show them that they can trust you and you can work together and do joint ventures, they're happy to do that. So even the sites, you're not even having to put the money up front. They're happy to do deferred payments or a joint venture on them. So it's, the money aspect is, I know there's a lot of people like yourself that we can have these conversations with and get these projects moving.
So let's use this vehicle podcast that we've got. So if any potential investors or people want to reach out to you, how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, the best way is through social media. So Kirk Shephard, estate agency covering the South Lake district, or just hit me up on my email, which I don't know if we can add to this, but it's just kirk.shephard@exp.uk.com, or just give me a call 077 843 75181, and that's my direct number as well. Anytime, hit me up with a message, give me a call. If I don't pick the call up, leave a voice message. Obviously, like the South Lake district, the signal's not great, so leave me a VM and I'll get back to you straight away. If that's from investment, if you want to get involved in the projects, if you've got any questions, reference marketing, just hit me up, give me a call, and I'm always happy to chat.
Perfect. Great stuff. So what we do on the podcast is, you are the first guest, so you get to go first, is that you get to write a question and for the next guest, and they've got to answer it. So what we'll do off air is you get to write the question, and then I'll ask the next guest on the next podcast, and we'll do that. So we don't have a question for you today, apart from the ones I've been asking, if that makes sense. But I just want to take this moment to just show my gratitude to you and my appreciation for you coming on and deep diving into your story It has been inspirational. It's kind of taken me back a bit, really. I didn't know half of what you talked about, with your personal life and from a young age. And also, thanks again for going through this direct mail and the direct to vendor stuff that we've been talking about. It's been fantastic.
No, it's not a problem at all, and I appreciate being asked to come and do the podcast.